Good evening all, it's Naveen joining the call. Can you guys hear me?
Sir, audible, sir.
Great, thank you. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Can
Visible,
you
sir.
guys? Great,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Okay, so let's get started guys. So my apologies, I could not take the session on Thursday. Friday was Christmas at least, but due to some urgent meetings, once in a while we have to get into those meetings guys. So I could not take, so let's get started today guys. Everybody is able to see the screen and okay. Can everybody hear me fine, guys? One more time. Just give me a quick yes, please. Thank you, guys. So today we have received a lot of guys requesting me to get started with the code and coding part of it. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just giving you a quick touch of basics of Python, and we'll try to understand a few basics. In the next coming few days, we'll try to get familiarized with a few basics of Python, and so that we can get into a little bit of machine learning and also try to understand some of the concepts of machine learning, guys. Okay, so let me come back here and just move this one. Okay, there you go, guys. So Python is a very high level dynamic object oriented programming language. They call Python as a very high level because there are lots of packages and functions in Python, and it is easy to work with it. In other words, we don't have to write a lot of low-level code. We end up writing a lot less code compared to other programming languages because of the packages. Developers who have worked in Python have been very, very generous. Small and simple things that we can do in Python generally tend to be very time-consuming in Java and .NET, and sometimes some of the packages which are available freely in Python end up being very, very expensive in other programming languages, guys. Okay, it is surprising how much how many packages are available in Python, and how much of cost savings a company or a business will get by using Python, guys. Okay, that is why, especially in the field of analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, everybody's looking at Python and everybody's getting into Python, guys. So let's take a look at a few the cartoon here. Let me bring up my tool. So if you're a non-programmer, you're trying to get into the world of Python. Working with Python is like a bird trying to put a lot of pebbles into it and trying to drink the water, which is, there's nothing wrong in it, but it's a little bit of hard work if you're not a programmer, guys. Okay, so if you're a programmer, you are drinking the water with a straw. In other words, it's a little bit easy. And if you're a Python programmer, it is much more easier. You relax and then you drink with water. So in other words, it's much more easy if you're a Python programmer. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to get a little bit, not a little bit, but we'll try to get some enough concepts, understanding of enough concepts, and we'll try to become a Python programmer. And by becoming a Python programmer, it becomes a bit more easier for us to work with Python, guys. So that is okay. Let's come here. So there it is, guys. Not only is it very high level, it is dynamic. It is dynamic. When we look at the code and things like that, we'll try to understand what we mean by dynamic. In other words, we don't have to tell Python whether when we create an object, whether it's an integer, a string, or a float, and things like that. And it's an object-oriented programming language, guys. Okay, so it is not only object-oriented, but it is also scripting. It is also structured programming. But at a high level, we can think of everything as an object in Python. It is easy to program and read. It is easy compared to the Java and .NET programming languages, guys. And when you read it, it looks like an English novel, or in other words, it looks like an English text. And to come to that stage, it will take a little bit of time, but we'll try to have a look at that, guys. It is similar to Perl. With powerful typing and object-oriented features. In other words, Perl is a scripting language. Perl is like the big brother of all the scripting languages. If you're into Perl, you can do some very, very powerful things using Perl scripting language, guys. Okay. If you think Perl as a big brother, you can call Python as a godfather. In other words, if you think Perl is powerful, Python is super powerful, is what it is, guys. Okay. You can do a lot more things in Python. We can use Python for building HTML websites. There are frameworks such as Django, Flask, which will help us in the world of UIs and things like that. There are a lot of built-in data structures. That's what we'll try to get a touch and a feel of today. The syntax clean compared to the Java and the .NET part of it, guys. It is not clean, but it is compared to Java and .NET, it looks much more clean. We'll also try to understand that in the coming up days. And when it comes to text processing, Python is the king. In other words, generally Python is the default, de facto. Everybody in the world of analytics and things like that, they go to Python because of the very, very powerful packages which are available, guys. Everybody okay so far, guys? Can you give me a quick yes? Okay. So what do we do? Well, if you want to download Python, what you can do is come here, say, come here. Let's go here. Say anaconda.com. This is the website. Earlier it was continuum.com. So let's say it was earlier continuum.io. Right now, if you type it, it'll take you to this page, anaconda.com. And then what you do is you need to find the download. So here is the products. What we need is a individual edition. I have these steps in our slides and things like that also, guys. So you don't have to be in a hurry. Just click on download. And whether yours, if yours is Windows, just click on that one based on whether it's a 64-bit or a 32-bit. Mac and Linux are also there. Most of the people generally tend to be Windows. A few of you are coming from Mac and Linux. So just download that, guys. So I will show you the next steps in a moment. Let me do a close of this one. Close of this one. I'll show you what that is in a moment. Let's come back here. So anaconda.com, guys. Once you install anaconda.com, it should be a pretty straightforward install, guys. I'll also show it to you. Once we do that, you can go to the start, type in CMD. It will open a window. This is called a command prompt and say Jupyter Notebook. This is one way. I've just given a blue color here. Or another way is once we install Anaconda, it will show you this one, Anaconda here. And I will explain you. I'm about to explain you what is Anaconda. It shows you an option for Jupyter Notebook. Just click on that one. You can open manually from here or just select Jupyter Notebook. It will take a few seconds. It will bring up this browser. And so this is the browser. And we'll try to play around with this a little bit, guys. So this is what is happening. Step by step I have given here. You try to click on that. It opens this one. And we'll try to understand some aspects of it, guys. Okay. So, but why Python now? What is its trend in today's programming world? Well, if you take a look at the red color here, a touch of the red color, that's Python. Python is growing compared to the Java and compared to the Java and the .NET. Java and .NET are generally the king and the queen. In spite of them being the king and the queen, Python is picking up because it's high level. It's much more high level than the Java and the .NET, especially in the world of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics, guys. It is super powerful compared to anybody else. Otherwise, nobody can touch Java and .NET. They are well established, guys. And this is a projection, or in other words, this is what is a prediction or the forecast. If you see the shaded region, Python is supposed to be growing like that compared to the rest of them. That is because everything is going to be AI in the coming up days, guys. So if you go a little bit deep into Python, we'll slightly get a computer science understanding, not a deep one, but it's just a slightly high level computer science understanding of how does Python work, guys. Here is a function. A function more precisely is a group of lines of code. We'll talk about functions in detail in the coming up days. But what happens is it converts English like text in program to uniquely identifiable tokens termed as lexical analysis. This is what is a computer science terminology. For us, we really don't need to worry. When you're working with Python, what is Python doing with the line of code that you're working with internally? That's not your problem. But just to get a high-level idea, when we write code, it is getting converted into what is called tokens, which is referred as lexical analysis. That is step one. Step two, it constructs tree using the tokens generated by the lexical analysis. This is known as abstract syntax tree. In other words, it takes the tokens and builds a abstract syntax tree based on the operands and the operators that we have given it. And then it uses the AST, the abstract syntax tree, and produces Python object code, also known as bytecode. The Python object code is different from the machine language code, guys. This is a slightly high level bytecode. This is not bytecode that is directly understood by the machine, but it is specific to Python. In other words, think of this as Python bytecode. That is the next step. So what is happening? There are three steps happening. One is lexical analysis, another one is an abstract syntax tree, another one is a Python bytecode generation. It's happening at a slightly high level when we write some code, guys. So here it is. What's this? This is a code we have written. The compiler is doing all these things. The compiler gets it up to the Python object code or the Python bytecode, and then that is given to the Python virtual machine. The Python virtual machine gets installed in your different operating systems, and that is what makes Python platform independent. This is the one which finally converts the Python code or Python object code into machine understandable bytecode, and that's what makes Python work on multiple operating systems, guys. Okay. Let me. Okay. One more time, quick yes, please. You can also use Sublime Text, guys, but we'll focus on Jupyter because that is becoming the global standard in the companies and things like that. You can almost code Python in maybe 10 to 20 or maybe 30 or different development environments, but Jupyter is kind of becoming the global standard, guys. So we'll focus on that one. So how does Python work? Well, Python virtual machine. Both Python virtual machine can be, there is one in C, written in C, another one is in PyPy, or in other words, it's written in Python, another one is written in Java, which is referred as Jython, guys. So there it is. Compiler is converting it to machine understandable bytecode, and that gets executed on different things. And coming back to Python, it is open source. It is open source means it is free. It is compared to the MATLAB, SAS, and things like that, which are pretty expensive, guys. The SAS, think of Python like the Ola or the Uber, whereas SAS, MATLAB, these are like the cars like Ferraris and things like that. They're expensive, guys. They're expensive. They have licenses for every user. It gets very, very expensive for businesses. Python is also general purpose. It is suitable for analysis not only financial data but any kind of data. When it is data, Python is the king. As simple as that, guys. Nobody can, or in other words, it's very, very powerful. It gives you very, very powerful capabilities and features. And even in web programming, it is picking up. Django framework is today being used heavily. It is interoperable with C, Java, and R. In other words, you can call the Python programs from other programming languages. So one more time, it is high level, which means we don't have to write a lot of low level code. So as a result of that, we save a lot of time. And there is Python and Jupyter. Python is, again, as we talked about, the compiler and interpreter. What we will be using is Jupyter. Jupyter is a development environment. To be more precise, it's a web development environment, guys. So what is happening is it uses a browser. Today, what is happening is all the companies, what they are doing is they are trying to make this web browser as the standard development environment, even though there are certain disadvantages and advantages in using a web browser. But what is the main advantages? If you learn how to write Python in this one, you can write, or for any other programming language, you can follow the same principles. Yeah, it is free. You don't need commercial licenses. You don't need to learn the new things. You can follow a standard process, and many other things are there, guys. So for all the programming languages, you can also use Jupyter. Right now, a lot of work is being done, guys. Okay, so it can be Julia, it can be R. You can also write. They're also trying to integrate .NET and Java into Jupyter, and that's what we'll try to understand. Slightly at a high level in Jupyter, what we do is this is how it looks like. Here is the text, you write the code, and here is the output. So in other words, the code is what we give it as the input. The output is what it will show, the output of our code, guys. So I will explain those parts of it in a moment, but let me cover a little bit of theory here, guys. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be not just downloading Python. I'm kind of coming from more a real world perspective than an academic perspective, guys. In real world, mostly Anaconda is being used. Anaconda is called a package or a distribution. It's called a Python distribution, a slightly technical terminology there. And you can think of Anaconda as a packaged car here. So let's say take this one. Think of this as a car. So here is the car. And for the sake of simplicity, here are the tires. Let's say we'll only give 2 tires there, or maybe we'll plug in a couple of them, so that makes it looks like it has four tires. And there's the steering. The steering is a Jupyter for sake of simplicity. And there are many other things inside a car. There are seats, there are brakes, okay, there's accelerator, there are many other seats and things like that. What is that? That is Anaconda. What is Anaconda? In a friendly way, we'll call that as a packaged car. Okay, what is Python? Python is only the engine. Let's take this one. Python is only the engine. But inside a car, you have the engine. You just can't drive the car with the engine. Okay, if you get the only engine, what you want to do is you want to install everything manually. You want to install a development environment. You want to install the different kinds of packages, the NumPy, Pandas, and all of the packages manually, guys. That will take a little bit of time. So in a real world, generally, most of the businesses and companies, what they do is they directly download the car. They don't get the engine and they don't download all those things. Most of the commonly used packages are installed. So the seats and everything are installed. If you don't have any package in this one, you can install that manually. It should be a pretty straightforward install, but that is what is Anaconda. In a friendly way, we'll call Anaconda as a packaged car. The technical mantra is it's called a distribution, a Python distribution. There are other distributions also and things like that, but most of the 70 to 80%, maybe 90% of the world uses Anaconda distribution, guys. Everybody with me so far, guys? Quick yes, please. Okay. So let's go one step ahead. That is called Anaconda distribution, and that's anaconda.com. This is slightly, I think they have changed the website now. So if you go here, you can download the Windows or maybe Mac or Linux. And once you download, I think right now 3.7 is the latest one. The way you want to check whether you want to download the 64-bit or 32-bit is, go to Control Panel, then go to System, then go to the System, and if you click on the System, it will say 64-bit here. So if it is 64, if your laptop or computer is a 64-bit, it shows 64, otherwise a 32-bit. Based on that, you can download the 64-bit. And 2. is a slightly older version. Right now, everybody is working on the 3. version, guys. So here is how the Anaconda, when you click on download, the file looks like. Once you download it, you unzip it, you run it. It brings up a next window. Just click on yes, yes, yes. You can use it for all users also. It's okay. You can leave the default as a destination folder. And you can leave these things as the default, guys. You don't need to make any changes. Just click on next. It should install. In a few seconds, it should complete it. And then you go to start and just type in Jupyter. It will bring up this one, Jupyter Notebook here. And give it a moment. It will open up the command prompt like that. It will open up that. It will open up that. And there is your Jupyter Notebook. This is referred as Jupyter Notebook. And that is what I have done a moment back. So here, if you notice, some of these are folders. And if you scroll down a little bit, that's a folder icon. A little bit down. And here, there's a file icon. Those are the files. The file in which we will be creating are referred as notebooks here. So these are notebooks. You have a book icon there, guys. Then again, you can select them. You can delete them. It says running. So we'll see what that means in a moment. What we can do is the first step that we'll do is in a Jupyter Notebook, you click on New. It'll give you Python Conda default. And they end with the extension IPyNB. Okay, and we can rename them, we can delete them. So you can just say new, you can say Python default, which I'll show you in a moment. So there is enter. Okay, so in other words, let's come back here. What we'll do, so scroll up here. So come to new, just say Python 3. Slight change in the UI, but it should be pretty straightforward, guys. Okay, so there it is. So for now, I have disabled these things. I'm going to enable. It will actually look like this. So let's say, call this as. You can give whatever title you like. So we'll just change the title AP Skill Development. And this is called the cell. So this is where we are going to be. This is the toolbar. This is the header title. And this is where we'll be writing the code, guys. Now notice the pencil icon. What's happening is when I click on this one, the pencil icon enables. But what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to click on escape. Notice the pencil is gone. So this is like in a read-only mode. Again, if I click on this one, the pencil comes up. It shows that you can edit it. That's called edit mode. And in a moment, I'll show you. So that's what it is. When you click your icon there, you have enter. And this is called the input field. We call that input field. We call the text box. We call the cell. So most of the times we refer it as cell in a real world. You can also call it as input field. It is nothing but a text box, guys. In each input field or cell, we can write a complex Python program. We can write very, very complex programs here. And what is this? This whole thing is called a new notebook. In the coming up days, we'll be using this heavily. So a notebook, we can think of this as a group of, where we can write a group of Python programs. Everybody with me so far, guys? Can you give me a quick yes, please? Okay, so you don't have to by heart anything, but just try to follow me as much as you can, and you'll automatically remember, guys. So there is edit mode. If the pencil is there, that means we are editing it. You do an escape, and the pencil goes. Okay, that's called the command mode, read-only mode. And now here is some code. Access 1, 2, 3, 4, control plus enter. This is how you execute a code. When you execute a code, this is how the output comes. So in other words, let's say I come here. For sake of simplicity, I will just type in 1 plus 1. I'm going to do a control enter. When I did a control enter, what happened is it shows the output here. You can go to the cell. You can say run cell. You click your and run cell. So that is the second way. If you're more of a mouse person, you can do a run. Most of the time we are, it's much more easier to use the keyboard. So we use a control enter. It is executing the cell and showing you the output. That's what is control enter, guys. Then the output field cannot be modified. The output is the output of that code. Then another technique is shift enter. So now notice 1 plus 2. What we'll do, instead of a control enter, I'll do a shift enter. What shift enter does is it executes this, shows the output, and creates a new cell. Most of the time we use a shift enter. It's executing the current cell. It's also creating a new cell. Okay. Otherwise, you need to go here and say insert cell below, cell above, like that. So instead of that, you can say a shift insert. That is shift enter. I'm sorry, shift enter, not shift insert, guys. And so it creates a new cell. There it is. So you can also copy the cells, move the cells up and down like that. If it is needed, you can stop them. Generally, we don't have to. We can add a cell above, add a cell below. If you do escape DD, it will delete the cell. Here and there, rarely we will use. And then there is something called a markdown cell, guys. If you notice the code here, there's a drop down here, there's a code. What we can do is the markdown cell is you click on markdown and you type some text here. So notice what looks like an in here, it turns into empty. And now here you can type in some text. You can type in, and what does it do? It doesn't look like an input and an output cell, but it gives you text generally when you want to write something. So in other words, let's say come here, instead of code you say markdown, or say come here, say code and markdown, and let's say here is text, and there it is. So it looks like that. So here I will go back here, I'll put this back to code, shift enter. So 1 plus 2, this is executing like a code. Whereas a markdown cell is you want to, let's say you want to say, hey, you want to put some documentation, you create a markdown cell. Okay, guys, so that is a little bit about the Jupyter, guys. Let me come back here. Everybody with me so far, guys? Can you give me a quick yes? You can also use Visual Studio. As I said, there are 20 to 30 of them, guys. Whatever you're comfortable, if you're already comfortable, you can use them, guys. But since, most of the time it's becoming a global standard, we generally train the guys in Jupyter, and you guys can also follow the same thing, guys. But if you're comfortable with others, feel free to go ahead and use them, guys. Then come down here. I'm trying to put together a few of the slides here, so just bear with me. Let's go back here. So let's see what we have here, guys. Okay, so what we are going to be looking at is we'll look at a few basic data structures today, if possible. We'll try to spend some time, the next half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, and then later we'll jump into NumPy. We'll get a touch of pandas, matplotlib, then a little bit of object-oriented programming, and then we'll get into the world of machine learning and try to do a few exercises and things like that, guys. That is the goal. And so why Python, guys? It is generally much more easier to learn Python compared to the Javas and the .NETs. It is much more easier to read. The syntax is much more clean. It has dynamic structure. We'll try to understand what it means by dynamic. It has large libraries. More precisely, it has very, very powerful libraries. It is very, very suitable. It is super suitable in the world of analytics and artificial intelligence, guys. One more time, it is large, it's effective, it's more precisely powerful and effective. And it is much more easier to find help, find answers on Python problems. Easier to read. It is very flexible because there are lots of packages, modules available. We end up writing a lot less code. So as a result of that, it becomes very, very flexible. And it's already very, very popular, guys. In the world of Java and .NET, those guys are just now trying to implement the machine learning algorithms, whereas for the past 3 to 5 years, Python has made them easy and super easy already. They have matured. The Java and the .NET folks are in slightly testing phase, guys. So we'll touch a little bit of basics of Python programming, guys. A little bit for those of you who are coming from slightly Python programming background, these might be very basics, but just bear with us because there are a lot of other people who are coming from different backgrounds here. Keeping them in the perspective, we'll try to uh, spend a few days in the basics of programming, guys. Okay, so there are variables. What are variables? That's what we'll try to understand. A variable is a reserved memory. In other words, let's say, come back here. For those of you who are coming from a non-programming background, imagine that is your laptop, and every laptop has RAM. Inside the RAM, what are variables? Variables say take some space. That space is called reserved memory. That is what is a variable. Variables are also called as objects, guys. Okay, why do we use them? We want to store them. Why do we want to store them? That's what we'll try to understand. No declaring. You don't have to declare. Means you don't have to declare the data type. You don't have to say whether something is an int, string, or anything like that. So here is s equal to Python. What is that? The s is called a Python. So when you say s equal to Python, what is happening is kind of an object is getting created here, and Python is being saved in that object. That is what is happening, guys. We'll try to understand that. Generally, we give the names X and Y, age, car name, total volume. You can give whatever you name. You try to give as much meaningful names as possible. It is dynamic. That is what it means by dynamic. You don't have to say string S. Pardon me. In the world of Java and .NET, you say string S equal to Python, whereas here you don't give it. Python will automatically infer it, is what it is. That's again a little bit of computer science coming in, guys. Some rules are good, a few good standards, best practice standards when you're using Python. You start with a letter or an underscore. The variable names or the object names can start with a letter or underscore. They cannot start with a number. You don't start with a number. So in other words, let's say, come back here. So let's say here is runs. Runs is a variable name. Let's say runs equal to 90. That's valid. You say runs, shift enter, notice it comes there. For a moment, what I'll do is I'll hide the toolbar. So I'll also hide the header so that we have a little bit more real estate. So what is runs? Runs is, something starting with a letter. That's okay. Runs equal to 90. And when you say runs, it is showing you whatever is inside that object. So what is runs? Runs is an object inside your RAM. And it's like a memory is another way. You generally you don't give a name like that. One runs. So what does Python do? Python will give you an error. If you put numbers, that's what that refers to. Cannot start with number. Only alphanumeric and underscore. In other words, you can also say underscore runs. Underscore runs. Oops, sorry. You have to first initialize it, assign it, and say underscore runs. That is okay. 100. So underscore is okay. Alphanumeric, only alphanumeric, guys. Okay, it cannot start, but you can do something like that. You can say runs 10. For the sake of simplicity, let's say 100. And now you look at runs 10, it will give you 100. So the thing is, it cannot start with a number, but it can have numbers. It can be alpha numeric like that, and it is case sensitive. Okay, let's say, so here is age equals to 10. This is age 10. If you use a thing and say age is 20. Oops, sorry. Age is 20. And look at this one. These are two different objects. And they're case sensitive. In other words, it will treat this as a different object, this as different object, and not defined in Python for while. Okay, we'll discuss about the while and else if these are some of the keywords, guys. Okay, so age. What is special about age? Age is numeric data. Address can contain not only alphabets, it can also contain numeric data. It's alphanumeric, guys. So what are these? There are different kinds of data types. If something is completely numeric, we call that as numbers, numeric data. If something is textual, we call them as strings. Then we have lists, tuples, and dictionaries. These are the slightly advanced data types. That is what we'll try to get a feel in the coming up days, guys. Type is a function which will give you the type of data. It will tell you whether something is numeric, or something is textual, or a list, or a tuple, or a dictionary. And here are some examples, guys. Okay, so let's come here. See if I can bring up my thing. Let's see where we have. Version 4. Here we go. Okay, so let's start playing around a little bit, guys. Today it will be very basics, guys, so just bear with me. For those of you who are coming from Python or a programming background, just bear with me, guys. So notice this, 1 plus 1 is 2. I'm sure you all know that. 1 times 2 is 2. What is this? This is numeric data. Python can do simple calculations, simple arithmetic calculations, guys. Let's say 3 divided by 2, 1.5. Good. Now take a look at this. 3 / 2, it will only give you 1. It is not giving you the decimal part of it. That's what / does. So in other words, we can use Python like a calculator. You can use Python like a calculator, which is like a bullock cart or a cycle. You can also use Python like a scooter, a bike, a car, and a helicopter, and a rocket. A helicopter is a machine learning, and deep learning is the rocket, is what you can think as. We'll first learn how to ride a cycle, and then the bike, and then we'll slowly move on to the car. If time permits, we'll also touch the rocket, guys. So these are some basic arithmetic operations. So take a look at this. 3 * 2. This is like 3 to the power of 2. So proof that, hey, we can perform some arithmetic operations in Python. And just for the sake of discipline, 2 * in brackets 1 divided by 2, that is 0.5, that is square root of 2, 1.414. Back to school and things like that, guys. So that is like square root of 2. That's how you can do it. And now take a look at this, guys. 1 plus 2 times 1000. So if you go back to school again, remember the board mass. First the multiplication is happening, then the addition is happening. So what is all these things? These are all numeric data. Okay, let's come here. Now take a look at this one, guys. The same thing with brackets plugged in. What's happening is, because of the presence of the brackets, the addition is happening, then multiplication will happen. So this becomes a 3, and this becomes a 1001, that is becoming 3003. All this is a touch of numerical data. Everybody with me, guys? Quick yes, please. Yes, you can also use the normal Python, idle, or whatever you're comfortable, guys. And let's move a little ahead. Let's see. Again, 14 by 4, that's division. We'll skip that. Here's a modulus operator, 14% 4. So whatever is the remainder, it's giving you that one there. 4 times 3 is 12, 2 is the remainder. That gives you, that's what the modulus operator, guys. So that's a touch of what is called numeric data, guys. We'll also look at what is called textual data. This is generally referred as strings in a Java or a .NET world. This is textual data. What is special about textual data? Try removing the single quotes, run it, Python will complain. What is it doing? It is forcing you to give them in a single bracket. You can also do the same thing in a double bracket. So say put this here, delete this, shift enter. So there it is. That is your input, this is your output. This is called textual data. We also call them as strings in a programming world, guys. Now take a look at this one, guys. Here is hash, put a Mera Bharat Mahan. This is comment. Okay? Generally what you do, well, here is Mera Bharat Mahan. At the end say hash, hey, this is just a text or string. So what am I doing? If I run this one, imagine tomorrow somebody else comes and looks at my code, and let's say for the sake of simplicity, they're just looking at this code and they see this is just a text or a string, this is comment. What is special about comment, guys? Behind the scenes, a code is getting converted into Python by bytecode and then the machine understandable code. Whereas a comment, Python does not convert it. Slightly from a computer science standpoint, there is no need. It just leaves it. It doesn't perform the compilation operation. Again, that is not something we need to worry about. We tend to be slightly more high level, guys. But at least one time we need to have an idea. Everybody with me so far, guys? Quick yes, please. Star star means square. That is true. Star star of 1 by 2 is square root, guys. Okay, so this is a touch of textual data. Now take a look at this, guys. Here is Namaste. Namaste. And one more time, here is Mera Bharat Mahan. So you give that as input and you're seeing the output as a string. Out is output, in is input. But take a look at this one, guys. Here's what happens. Namaste and Mera Bharat Mahan, you try to type in 2 lines of code at one time, you only see Mera Bharat Mahan. We don't see Namaste because it's getting overwritten. This is overwriting that one. It is actually getting printed. How do you know? Take a look at this. From here, let's say print Namaste and say Mera Bharat Mahan. Now you see both of them. So what is print? Print is a built-in function. Python has lots of this built-in function which makes our life easy. That's what makes our life high level and things like that, guys. So there is print Namaste. So it is explicitly printing. And there is Mera Bharat Mahan. In other words, now it's not overwriting. As print is explicitly printing, as simple as that. Then come down here. Everybody with me so far, guys? Can you give me a quick yes one more time? What is the difference between slash and slash slash? So if you go back here, guys, take a look at this. 3 divided by 2, this is called a true division. 1.5 is a true value. But let's say 3 slash slash 2, it doesn't give you the decimal part of it. This is called a classic division. In a Python world, we call this as a classic division versus a true division. That is for somebody, whoever asked it. But let's go one step ahead, guys. Let's see what else we have. Now take a look at this. She said thank you. What is special here is, if I run this, it will give you an error. What we are trying to do is we are trying to create some textual data, textual object within single quotes. What do you do? Well, it won't work. What should you do? You try double quotes. Say try double quote here. Okay. So run it. Notice it will give you an error. Okay, let's try another thing. What we'll do, when you have more than one line, when your text is taking more than one line, you should give a triple quote. If you run this, it works fine. Backslash n, it's printing that additional escape character that is called escape character. That's just indicating a new line. Everywhere new line like that. Okay, so what do we do? So what we are trying to convey is, if you want to create some textual data on multiple lines, one way is this triple quotes, but more precisely, take a look at this. We'll copy this. We'll say print and paste this here. Now take a look at this. It prints much more neat and clean. Print is kind of formatting it. It's kind of taking care of those additional things. So what is that? That is print. Generally we say print because the small things it will automatically take care of that. We don't have to take special care of formatting and things like that, guys. Everybody with me? Quick yes, please. Are you catching it? Okay. Okay. The chats are going too fast for me to follow every chat, guys. So I'll try to, whatever I'm able to catch, I will try to address. And let's say come back here. So that's what is print. So we can't use single quote, we can't use double quote, we have to use triple quotes. Okay, so generally we say triple quotes, we use a print, and no matter how many lines. Take a look at this one, guys. Here is print Namaste, slightly complex one. Let's run it. Now what is special here is sometimes in multiple lines you want to use single quotes, you want to use double quotes, in a multiple single quotes, multiple double quotes and things like that. What is that? If you put triple quote, if you wrap them around triple quote, it will take care of that. You can use as many single quotes or as many double quotes. If you, instead of a triple quote, if you use double quotes or single quotes, that will not take care. In other words, that's what is. It will take complex scenarios where you have multiple single quotes and double quotes. That's a bit complex one, guys. Everybody with me? Quick yes, please. Triple quote, as simple as that. Okay. So let's go slightly ahead. Radius equal to 3. So this is a variable. What is this? This is where we started creating objects. So radius, here is radius. Okay. So when you do this one, visualize something like this is happening. Radius is a variable or it's an object. So back to your laptop, plug in, here's RAM. Oops. Say select this. Here is RAM. Inside the RAM, just visualize you have created a cup. Inside that cup, you have put a value called 3 and we're calling the radius. This is what Python is doing, slightly at a visual perspective. What is an object? An object is a cup. The radius is inside the cup, it has stored a value. So what are we doing? We are storing a value. Where do you store? It's getting stored in the memory. That is what is a variable. A variable is used for storing something and you give a name to it. That's called an object, guys. And let's say, come back here. Now, take a look at this, guys. Here is type. You say, what is a type of radius? It will tell you integer. What is integer? Integer is non-decimals. This is not a decimal. That is what is radius, guys. But come here, take a look at this. Here is pi. Pi equals to 3.14. Ask what is pi, it gives you 3.14. You say what is type, it will tell you it's a float. What is float? Float is a decimal. Think of the decimals as floats and non-decimals as integer. What is special about them? Both of them are numeric. In other words, let's say, come back here. You do a little bit of clean up. Here is numeric data. Under numeric, you have integers. You also have floats. Okay. This is not decimal. This is not decimal. This is decimals. Decimals are called floats. Again, a little bit of programming terminology coming up there, guys. So type is telling you what kind of an object, that is called data type. Everybody with me, guys? Quick yes, please. We cannot use a single line for printing multi because that is a syntax of Python. Short answer. There is nothing more logical to explain. So if I give you a scooter and I say here's how you put a brake and you ask me why should I put a brake like that, well, there is no answer. If you want to stop, you have to brake it like that. So it's one of those syntactical things, guys. Okay, so that is type. Now take a look at this area of a circle. It's pi r square, back to school and things like that. What are we doing? We created 3 objects. Pi is one object, radius is another object. Now we are creating another object that becomes 84.78. You can perform as much complex calculations as you want, guys. Okay, so that is becoming radius pi r square. So I think I should say, sorry, 2 there. There you go. My bad. So r square, radius square, that becomes a square that is getting multiplied with that one. Let's say I can also wrap it up like that. 8.26. That is how it needs to be, guys. Okay, just to avoid confusion, we're doing a radius square. Star means to the power of 2, and we're multiplying with that. So if you say what is type of area of the circle, because it's a decimal, it will call it as a float. Okay, guys, so that's what we have. The numbers are numeric data, integers, floats, and complex type. So integers are not decimals, no decimals. Floats are decimals. If you have something like an equation, later when we go into the world of machine learning and things like that, those tend to be some complex equations and things like that. Those are referred as complex data types, guys. And some examples here. Then we have strings. Strings is nothing but textual data. sequence of characters, literals, constant. So these are hard-coded textual data. For example, Python in single quotes, Python in double quotes is a string. String is textual data. Okay, here are some examples. We'll look at them. So in data types, we have built-in functions. Print is used. It's a built-in function. It is the displays. Whatever you give it, it will display, guys. And then, okay, we can also convert the different data types. We can convert decimal to non-decimal, non-decimal to decimal. We can convert them to textual data and things like that. That's what we have coming up, guys. So let's come here. Let's see. Go a little bit more into programming, guys. As I said, today I'll be touching mostly on a programming topics. So there is type of doc. It says str. What is it? It is textual data, generally wrapped around in single quotes and double quotes. Now take a look at this type of font. One is actually numeric data, but if you wrap it around a single quote that thinks it is textual data, that is what it is called string. Okay, to understand that, take a look at this. It will give you just a plain integer. If you don't give single quotes, it's treating it as numeric data. If you wrap it around double quotes, it's giving you as textual data. Okay, everybody okay with that, please? Okay, and let's see. Come back here. Now take a look at this, guys. Here is Mera Bharat. Mera is Mera Bharat. So it's like you're creating an object or a variable. What is inside Mera? There is Mera Bharat. Then come down here. Here is Mahan. What is happening, guys? Here is Mahan. What are these? These are two different objects. If you say ID, ID is a built-in function. If you say Mera, it is giving you some number. Think of this as the address of that location. Okay? If you say ID of Mahan, it will give you some other number. Ending with 04, this is ending with 08. So what is this? This is like an address of that one. Generally, we don't really worry about the address and things like that. That's very, very low level, guys. But we need to have an idea. So now take a look at this. Here is Nescafe. Nescafe plus coffee. So two textual data, what we are doing is we are adding them up. What happens? That becomes Nescafe coffee. So what is plus? Plus is concatenating. It is joining these two textual data is a way to think of it. Let's also take a look at this. Here is Nescafe plus Nescafe plus Nescafe. That is Nescafe 3 times. What is the problem here? Let's say if you want to write it 10 times, what can you do? You have to copy paste this. So let's say there's Nescafe, then you say plus, then you say that, then you say plus, and you keep going like that. Nescafe, Nescafe, Nescafe. There's a shortcut, guys. What can you do? You can say 10 times Nescafe. You're doing now in one shot, Nescafe, Nescafe, Nescafe is getting repeated. So what is happening? You are using plus as a concatenation operator. It is like joining two textual data. And if you want to do it multiple times, you have to do it copy paste it multiple times. The shortcut is you can just multiply that one with that one. Everybody with me, guys? Quick yes, please. Okay. So that's like a shortcut, guys. And again, now notice 3 times Nescafe plus coffee. So somebody is very, very desperate about Nescafe coffee. So there they are saying Nescafe, Nescafe, Nescafe coffee. You can use the multiplication and the addition operations on textual data like that. We generally don't use a subtraction or a division, guys. It is not really meaningful. But let's come back here. 7 plus 2, a pretty straightforward arithmetic operation is 9. But notice this one. Plus 7 or 7 in quotes plus 2 does not. What happened here is, if you use a plus and you give a numeric data, Python is complaining. It's giving you an error. It's giving you an exception. It does not work. Okay, what will work? If you say this, you put this in single quotes like that, it will work. It will give you 72. If you are concatenating two strings, it is working. If you are trying to concatenate a string and an integer, it is not working. Everybody with me, guys? This is called typecasting. We are coming to typecasting, guys. I'm going to come to that in a moment. So, what do we do? What we can do is, you take the numeric data, you tell it to convert to textual data by using str. str is another built-in function. So take a look at this. Here is some, and now What's happening is the numeric data is getting converted into string, which is textual data, and the concatenation can happen. So this is called typecasting or conversion. You can convert a numeric data into textual data. You can also convert textual data into numeric data. So take a look at this. We can say here is 7, and what we'll do, we'll convert this into textual data, into numeric data, sorry. Here is int. Oops. And that becomes 7. What is int? Int is non-decimal. You can also convert it into float. So give us 7 there. That becomes 7.0. That's decimal. Everybody with me, guys? So this is called typecasting. Okay. Again, as I said, basics of a few programming concepts, guys. Bear with me if you're already familiar. So let's see, what is that? So now take a look at this. Here is a decimal, 2.0. Here of 2.0. Notice that becomes, that's wrapping, that's getting wrapped around double quotes. This is called conversion. Okay. Let's play around a little bit more. So here is Nescafe equals to coffee. Now take a look at this, guys. We are creating a cup called Nescafe. We are trying to put coffee. It gives you an error. Why? The way it needs to be done is Nescafe is the name of the variable. This needs to be in single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Now it doesn't complain. Say what is in Nescafe? You have coffee. That's how we need to create an object. We cannot give textual data without the single quotes. For numeric data, you can give. For numeric data, you can give without the single quotes or the double quotes, guys. Then come here. Here's person psi. Okay, in single quotes is okay, but take a look at this coffee. Coffee, and now what you're doing is we're using a built-in function called input. So if you run this one, you are asking the user to enter something. You're asking what is your favorite coffee, let's say Nescafe. Press enter. So now what is happening is whatever you entered here is being taken as input. It is getting stored in coffee. So if you see what is in coffee, you will see Nescafe. What is it? That is input. Input is where you're asking a user to enter something. Everybody with me, guys. Quick yes, please. Okay. And let's dig a little bit deep. Go in here. So one more time. Take a look at this. Applicant, enter your applicant's name, enter your interviewer. Enter the interviewer's name. Sorry. Let me copy this properly. Okay. It will ask 2 times continuously. Notice applicant name is Sai. Let's say interviewer is, let's say, who do we have here? Ravi. Here it is. You can, and now if you see, what do? We see what is inside this applicant. There is Sai, and another one is interviewer. That is Ravi. So what are we doing? We are asking a user to enter something, and when we do something like this is called hard coding. Whereas here, we are asking a user to enter something. This is dynamically you are entering the data and saving inside the variable is what the input function is helping us, guys. Let's go a little bit deep. Hello, input we have seen. Okay, looks like I'm getting into the world of lists and dictionaries. So let's see what else we have. Okay, a little bit about computer science related things, guys, more precisely, programming related things. There is something called operators and operands. 4 plus 5, 4 and 5 are called the operands, plus is called the operator. It's a pretty straightforward arithmetic operation. In Python, we have arithmetic operation, we have comparisons, we have assignments, we have logical. A quick look at this. I will not give you a detailed look because these are pretty basic, but just a quick look. Arithmetic operation, you can do addition, subtraction, modulation, exponentiation, float, and things like that. In coming up days, we'll be performing these things, anyhow. So we have already looked at some of them, guys. Then the Boolean, true and false. These are called the Booleans. True is true, false is false. And we can also verify that. These are called the comparison, equal to, less than, or equal to. There are a few examples. I'll leave them. Assignment operator is where we are creating a variable. When you say a equals to 9, you're creating a object. A is the object and 9 is what you're saving inside that object. That object is nothing but memory inside your RAM, guys. Logical operators and or not. These again in the coming up days I will explain these things, guys. I have a few basic examples here. Then we have the conditionals. Conditionals specifying actions according to the conditions. So we can verify if two objects are same, if they are equal to true, false, and things like that. Those are called conditionals. Then we have a little bit of if loops and for loops. These also, I'm going to quickly run them here. So if loop is where you check one condition at one time. If there is only one condition, then you will check that. So take a look at this. Here it is. So we have, here is age equal to, we're asking somebody to enter. We'll say input, we'll say, please enter your age. Okay, and then what we are going to do is they will enter a number. Input will take everything as a string. You convert it into a number. And then is age. So let's say we'll ask somebody to enter the age. Come here. We'll enter, let's say, 45. And now what we want to do is, let's say, if age is less than 21, colon, print you not eligible for driving license. There you go. So this is one condition, guys, as simple as that. If you want to check one condition like that, we'll say. So when I copy it, sometimes the special character gets copied, guys, so don't worry about that. So now let's run it. Notice it is not getting called. Okay, but let's come back here. Let's say we'll enter 20. And now I'm going to run this. Now it will print you're not eligible. So only when this condition is getting satisfied, when that condition is getting satisfied, it is going into the print loop. Something to be kept in mind, more from a syntactical perspective, is notice you remove the colon, you try to run it, Python will complain. In other words, pardon me, Python is forcing you to give that, it works. Another small thing is, notice the indentation of the tab. You remove that, Python will complain. In other words, it is forcing you to give the tab. That indentation is what makes a Python code very neat and clean. In a Java and .NET world, you can write this entire thing in one line and the code may end up being convoluted, guys. As a result of that, many times people say Python is much more easy to read and clean. When you have lots of condition and things like that, it becomes very, very simple and easy. Everybody with me, guys? Quick yes, please. Okay, good. So that is the story of the if, and let's see where we are. Here, that's if. Okay, else statement. Then generally, the if another variation is else. So in other words, if you're noticing, if you enter 45 here, 45, and I run this one, nothing is getting printed. If you want another condition to be checked, or in other words, if you want the condition to be checked both ways, what you can do is you can plug in an else. Else colon, print, congrats. Say congrats. So now run this. Now notice, if the age is greater than 21, it is triggering the else loop is what it is. So you check this condition. If this condition is true, you print this. Otherwise, you print this as a is what is happening. So else is allowing you to print this. But a small catch about else, guys, is you can write if by itself, but you cannot just write else like that. Python will complain. Else always generally has to be associated with another condition on the top. Is something to be kept in mind. Okay, guys. Then let's see. Come back here. What else we have? Okay. Save this one. Okay. So what I'm going to do, guys, since it's a weekend and things like that, today I happen to have another meeting shortly in a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give about 5 to, I have a meeting exactly at 8:45, guys. Sorry about that. So I will give you the last 10 minutes I will open it up for a few questions. The next 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 days maybe, I will be focusing on basics of programming, guys. Okay, so I want those guys who are coming from a slightly programming background to be a slightly patient and in allowing me to enlighten those guys who are not coming from programming background with these basic concepts, and then we'll slowly move on to slightly more and more interesting and real world scenarios and things like that, guys. So just bear with me while I do that. So I want to now open it up for a few questions and things like that, guys. Any questions, please feel free to type in. Presentations, yes, we are working, our team is working. Maybe you need to give us a bit more time on that. Certificates and all those things, Mansa will get back to you guys. How to install Anaconda. Installing Anaconda, you need to go back to the anaconda.com website. Let's see if I still have it open. Here we go. There is anaconda.com website. Go to products. It is individual edition. Click on that. And if you scroll down, there is a download. Click on that. That will take you to the Windows, Mac, or Linux. Based on whatever yours, you click on that one. And most of you should have an idea whether you're using a 64 or 32-bit, guys. If you're not having an idea, let me know. Tomorrow, no class, guys. We'll meet on Monday again. There is nothing like a best IDE, guys. Many people use different kinds of things. It's based on what you're familiar with. Jupyter is again becoming a global standard, so you can use that. 3.7 is, I think, the latest version there. Whatever is the latest version, you can use it there, guys. How to Python execution. Oh, how Python execution works. Okay. No, you don't need to worry. PyCharm is also pretty good. If you're familiar, you can go ahead with that round, or Lokesh. What's a detailed Python execution works? So again, I've already explained that. I don't know who's your name. The chats are going real quick here. So just have a high level idea, buddy. So from a slightly computer science perspective, it's getting converted to lexical analysis, the abstract syntax tree, then the Python object code, then the um, machine bytecode is what's the conversion which is happening, guys. Google Colab is same as the Jupyter on the cloud you can think of. We can start with Google Colab, but that is it needs a little further explanation. Jupyter is much more simple. If you start with Jupyter, you'll automatically be able to work with the Google Colab in a few days. Yeah, we'll be sharing. Our team will be sharing it in a few days, guys. Once we have, once they've finalized the slides, they will share it. There are some copyright issues and things like that they need to take care while sharing it. So that's why they're taking some time. You need to give us a little bit time, guys. It is both a compiler and an interpreter, guys. Just one. Idle, Jupyter Notebook, they're all development environments. Jupyter is a much more simpler web IDE. You don't need a lot of complex installation. It generally comes with Anaconda. When you install Anaconda, it comes. Sublime is also okay. I have not used Sublime. It's like a text editor, but you can also write Python programs. We'll talk more about data types, other kinds of data types in the coming up days, guys. NumPy, Pandas, Scikit-learn are the um, most popular packages. TensorFlow, yes, that is for deep learning. Yes, Windows 10 supports Anaconda. It should support. Virtual reality, no. You can use AI, the part of the AI functionality in virtual reality, but virtual reality is slightly different. How to deploy code in server? Oh, that's too far away, buddy. Will take some time reaching that. Python users. Python again. Maybe you miss the initial stuff. It can be used for web applications, Windows applications. You can. I mean, when it comes to analytics and AI, it is super powerful. You can call the C and the C++ code in Python. AI planning. Hmm. Okay, if time permits, we'll talk about those things, guys. Perl is a scripting language, guys. It's a very powerful scripting language, and Python is super powerful compared to Perl. After this training, you will have an idea of Python, what is machine learning. If time permits, we'll also continue a little bit of deep learning, guys. Certificates, I think, will be handed over by based on your attendance and things like that. Material also will be shared by our team in a few days. Yeah, I'll touch a little bit of computer vision, a little bit of natural language processing. These are very, very vast topics, guys. We cannot complete them in 3 to 4 weeks. Can we create an application? Yes, you can create an application using Python. You don't have to do a live project. If you know how things work, you can use them in a live project. We'll do something like projects only. You can also do hacking using Python, yes. AI and data science are broader terms. Machine learning and deep learning are the heart of AI and data science. Today, when anybody is talking about AI or data science, they're primarily talking about machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, natural language processing. SQL is also important, Lokesh. That is true. Python. Yeah, most of the powerful deep learning packages are available in Python. Others are still trying to write them in other languages, guys. It's useful for research, yes, absolutely. You can use it for research. Visual code for programming languages. Yeah, you can use Visual Studio. If you're referring to Visual Studio, you can also use that. OpenCV, yes, we'll be talking about OpenCV coming up days. Is R more popular? Python is super popular. R is popular, Python is super popular. Let me put it like that. Cool. Once you save, once you write any program, collaboration. Oh, you're still using C and C++. That's very low level. I don't know your scenarios why you're using C and C++. For what? I couldn't read your full question. Yeah, the AI and all that stuff, machine learning, this is generally the back end part of it, guys. MATLAB is a separate tool, guys. Separate tool, Lokesh, for doing similar kinds of things where you'll not write much of code, but you'll have a GUI and things like that. Mansa will be sharing, our team will be sharing the feedback form, guys. So for today, I will wrap up here because I need to get into another call, guys. Sorry about that. And we will continue our journey on Monday, guys. With that, allow me to sign off here. Yes, all those topics, tuples, lists, we'll be talking in the coming up days. So, signing off for today. You guys stay safe. Keep learning. Thank you
Thank you,
and
sir.
bye for now.
Yes, bye, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So before the all the participants, before sharing the feedback form, I'm just explain about the actually Monday we are planning one small program with Microsoft team on 10:30 a.m. So I think most of the people maybe know about the Microsoft Imagine Cup. So it is one of the competition. This is one of the challenge. So every year the Microsoft team is conducting this competition. This is the Imagine Cup. From last 18 years, Microsoft team is conducting this competition. So this year APSSDC and NSDC also part of this program. So if anyone is interested, just register on this competition. So as a part on this month, the prize money is also very high. So this is the registered 31st December is the last date for the registration, and as well as if you see that the round number 2 3 4 5 and the final prize money is also there. So I'm every day updated in the our telegram group also. So if anyone is interested, just register immediately. And one more thing, so as a part of this competition, this challenge, we are planning a one small camp on 28th onwards. 28th in this in this meeting. So many people are attended from Microsoft team, NSDC, as well as skill development of APSSDC, and the previous winners also. So this is one of the great opportunity to interact with world skills competitors as well as Imagine Cup winners also. So don't miss it. So anyone is interested, just register immediately. I'm just now once again I post in our groups also. Sorry, just 1 minute. Just repeat again. So this is the Microsoft Imagine Cup competition. This is a challenge. So as a part of this challenge, APSSDC, NSDC, and Microsoft conducting one camp on Monday. So this is one of the great opportunity. The each and every candidate need a chance to interact with skill competitors and champions, as well as Microsoft team and skill development team, as well as NSDC team. So if anyone is interested, just register immediately. So this is very less time is there. So session is started on Monday at 10:30. And coming to the competition, so it can the prize money is also very high. If you see that if the candidate is qualified, the final winner, the $75,000 is there, the prize money. So it can have totally four rounds is there. It is one of the great opportunity, and definitely it will be helpful to you for improving your skills in the world level standards also. So before I request everyone first register this campaign. So before I'm already the registration link is placed in all the groups. So once again I'm posted in chat box. I'm just given 4 5 minutes time. Yeah, once you are registered, you get the clear information. More than 17 years, all are eligible. More than 17 years, all are eligible. I request to all the candidates, please forward this information to all your friends also. So this is one of the great opportunity because you need directly interact with all the legends. It's nothing but directly Microsoft team also. The faculty also eligible. More than 17 years, all are eligible for this competition. Yeah, first year students also eligible. Okay. Yeah, once you registered, you get the mail from NSDC team. For example, I'm showing my mail ID also for your clear idea. So once you are registered, you get mail from NSDC team. So this is the Imagine Cup clear information. So it's the loading issue is there. That's why it's not clear. So but you received mail, and so one more thing, you are received the session link also. Yeah. Once registered, you get the information like this. This is the total prize money about. It is clear overview about the Microsoft Imagine Cup. Okay. So coming to the today feedback form, I will post in few minutes. So and one more thing, I think any members from final year students. So Wipro Elite. So it is the one of the training program we are planning to organize. So especially for BTech final years. I hope maybe you already know about the Wipro is launching the Allied NTH National Qualification Test. Is nothing but NTH. So 2021. So as a part from 28th onwards, we are starting the training on aptitude, quantitative and verbal. So similarly, written communication skills and online programming. So if anyone is interested in, just register in APSSDC website, apssdc.in website. And I think some of the members are requesting, still some of the members are not registered for this training program. So if you have anyone is interested, just register here. So this is the, I'm already explained, Microsoft NSDC virtual cup, virtual Imagine Cup training camp. This is the training link, and this is the one more training program in with XLR team. We are conducting artificial intelligence training program. This is also 30 days program. This is one more thing. So Wipro Elite NTH. This is especially for 2021 passed outs only. Okay. So now I'm. Yeah, మీ కాలేజ్ మెయిల్ ఐడి లేకపోతే you just mention your Gmail ID. That is sufficient. I'm already posted all the feedback forms in our in your chat boxes. Check it once. Tomorrow no class. Okay. Just uh, just uh, just practice all these concepts. So I hope Sai has covered many concepts regarding the Python. Just first attend the 28th session. At that time you get some idea about all these things. Okay. Yes, artificial intelligence is only for particular batches, the first in, first out. So the first 500 candidates only. Passed out here is nothing but if you have any doubts, just contact APSDC toll free. I hope someone is mentioned in chat box. If you have any queries, anything else, if you want any information, just contact our toll free number. As some of the members is requesting the slides, So we already informed many times. End of the training, we will provide the all the slides. Who is qualified based on the exam? ఎవరైతే qualify అవుతారో then only those candidates only we will forward the material. ఎవరికైతే attendance ఉంటుంది, ఎవరికైతే ఎలిజిబుల్, ఎవరైనా ఎలిజిబుల్ అప్లై చేసుకోవచ్చు. సమ్ ఆఫ్ ది మెంబర్స్ అడుగుతున్నారు, సార్ మేము రిజిస్టర్ అయిన తర్వాత మాకు ఎలా వస్తుంది కన్ఫర్మేషన్ అనేది? ఇలా వస్తుంది. ఇమాజిన్ కప్ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్, యూ హ్యావ్ రిజిస్టర్డ్, కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్, యూ హ్యావ్ రిజిస్టర్డ్ ఫర్ ఇమాజిన్ కప్ 2020, ప్లీజ్ జాయిన్ ద 28th మీటింగ్ అని ఇలా వస్తుంది మీకు రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ కన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఎస్, ఎంసీఏ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఇస్ నాట్ ఎలిజిబుల్. జస్ట్ మీరు చూడండి అక్కడ 2021 మాత్రం అడుగుతున్నారు వాళ్ళు. ఏపీఎస్ఎస్డిసి డాటింగ్ వెబ్సైట్ లో చెక్ చేసుకోవచ్చు మీరు క్లియర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కోసం. మీకు ఏమైనా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కావాలంటే ఇది కొంచెం టోల్ ఫ్రీ అడుగుతున్నారు, 180042522422. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఏపీఎస్డిసి టోల్ ఫ్రీ నెంబర్. రికార్డింగ్ క్లాసెస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్రెడీ అవైలబుల్ ఆన్ యూట్యూబ్. ఏపీఎస్డిసి యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ ఆల్రెడీ ఉంది కదా. yes, only for btech students, that is for circuit branches and CSE and IT. 2020 passed outs వాళ్ళు ఇవ్వలేదు, సో విప్రో ఇవ్వలేదు. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ టోటలీ కండక్టింగ్ బై విప్రో ఓన్లీ. అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ క్యాండిడేట్స్ ఆల్సో ఎలిజిబుల్. వన్స్ మీరు పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తేనే కదా వీ హ్యావ్ ఐడియా వస్తుంది వాట్ హ్యాపెన్ అని. ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి $75,000 ప్రైజ్ మనీ. ఎంసీఏ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆల్సో నాట్ పాసిబుల్, ఐ మెన్షన్ సేమ్ థింగ్. సో దట్ ఈస్ విప్రో వాళ్ళు కండక్ట్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి. విప్రో వచ్చేసరికి ఓన్లీ బీటెక్ ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ 2021 క్యాండిడేట్స్ మాత్రమే ఎలిజిబుల్. జస్ట్ కాంటాక్ట్ ఏపీఎస్డిసి టోల్ ఫ్రీ నెంబర్ రిగార్డింగ్ ద AI training. Okay. Mechanical engineering candidate also eligible for tomorrow session. Okay, this session is not possible. I hope Wipro is not possible. Your current year, I think for example MTech అయితే MTech second year, BTech అయితే first year or second year, third year, BSc BCom లో ఉంటాయి కదా మీ ఇయర్స్. సో ఆ ఇయర్ మెన్షన్ చేస్తారు. డిగ్రీ క్యాండిడేట్స్ ఆల్సో ఎలిజిబుల్ ఫర్ మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ మీటింగ్. Once you are registered, in the session at the time of training we will explain the Wipro guidelines and everything. Okay, this is not correct thing because this is the training for data science and AI. Okay, once you registered, so in the first day session our team is explaining about the Wipro competition, Wipro training, and as well as Wipro examination and everything. Imagine Cup is complete country, not only in AP. So throughout India lo conduct చేస్తున్నారు. So as a part AP lo APSSDC is the one of the supporting partner. Mechanical student is eligible for Imagine Cup. Yes, Imagine Cup is not a syllabus. ఇది ఒక ఎగ్జామ్ కాదు, అది కాంపిటీషన్. ఓకే, వన్ ఛాలెంజ్ ఇస్తారు మీకు. సో ఆ ఛాలెంజ్ లో ఏదైనా చేసుకోవచ్చు. సార్ ఫర్ క్లియర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కోసం ఈ 28th, సో 28th is the meeting is there. సో 28th నా ఎన్ఎస్డిసి టీమ్ యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ టీమ్ అందరూ వస్తున్నారు. మీరు డైరెక్ట్ గా ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. టోల్ ఫ్రీ నెంబర్ 180042522422. దిస్ ఈస్ ద టోల్ ఫ్రీ నెంబర్. ఎస్, సో ఇమాజిన్ కప్ కి సంబంధించిన ఏమైనా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కావాలంటే మీరు 28th 10:30 మీటింగ్ ఉంటుంది. వన్స్ మీరు రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వగానే ఇలా వస్తుంది మెయిల్. సో ఈ మెయిల్ ఇలా వచ్చిన తర్వాత దీంట్లో మీరు జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు. ఈ సెషన్ కి మీరు డైరెక్ట్ గా వరల్డ్ స్కిల్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ ఎవరైతే టీమ్ ఉన్నారో మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ టీమ్, డైరెక్ట్ గా వాళ్ళతోనే మీరు ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. I hope today I already placed the today attendance link. Any year all are BTech 17 years above ఉన్న అందరూ ఎలిజిబుల్ ఇమాజిన్ కప్ కి. డోంట్ వరీ. ఓకే, మోర్ దెన్ 17 years ఎవరున్నా కూడా వాళ్ళు ఎలిజిబుల్. ఎస్, అప్లికబుల్. ఎంఎస్సి ఎంకామ్ అందరూ అప్లికబుల్. వర్కింగ్ ప్రొఫెషనల్స్ మేబీ ఈజ్ నాట్ అప్లికబుల్, ఐ హోప్. సో ఫర్ క్లియర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కోసం మీరు బెటర్ టు అటెండ్ ద మీటింగ్. సో బెటర్ టు అటెండ్ ద ఫస్ట్ రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వండి ఏదో ఒక ఇయర్ పెట్టి. సో మీరు బెటర్ టు ఇంటరాక్ట్ విత్ దోస్ టీమ్. ప్రజెంట్ అయితే ఇమాజిన్ కప్ గురించి ఎవరైతే ప్రొఫెషనల్స్ ఉన్నారో వర్కింగ్ ఇన్ ఇండస్ట్రీ ఆర్ రీసెర్చ్ పర్సన్స్, సో బెటర్ టు జాయిన్ ద సెషన్. సో మీరు ఏదైనా ఒక ఇయర్ పెట్టి జాయిన్ అవ్వండి, తర్వాత మీరు ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు ఆ టీమ్ తో. సో షల్ ఐ లీవ్ గైస్? సో ఎనీథింగ్ ఎల్స్? సో some of the members is asking about the feedback form. So second one is feedback form, today attendance link or today feedback form. The first one is Imagine Cup. If you observe that, I am the posted the link in YouTube also. Yeah, definitely. The 80% is mandatory for the issuing the certificate. So actually, we are not maintaining any WhatsApp, sir. We are using only Telegram group. Yeah, MTech students also eligible for Imagine Cup. So which login problem? We are not providing any logins to APSDC from APSDC, I hope. Telegram group, APSDC programs, APSDC programs. The Telegram group name is APSDC programs. Just search in Telegram group, Telegram, just install and search in Telegram group. Just the name is APSDC programs. Every day I'm collecting attendance through feedback form only. Yes, correct. I hope someone is already. Thank you, Nilima. So today is the fourth day, sir. Ma'am, I think today is the fourth day. Just attend the meeting. So at that session, we will explain the everything about the Microsoft Imagine Cup. Okay. So first 3 days is already completed. And end of the session only we will place the attendance link. సో ఇప్పుడైతే ఆ 3 days సెషన్ అటెండెన్స్ లింక్ అయితే ఇవ్వడం జరగదు. సో ఏ రోజు లింక్ ఆ రోజు మాత్రమే ఇస్తాం మేము. ఓకే, క్లియర్. సో ఎవరికైనా ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ లేకపోతే లెఫ్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. సో నాట్ నీడ్ టు వెయిట్. సార్ వీఆర్ నాట్ యూజింగ్ ఎనీ వాట్సాప్ సార్. వీఆర్ ఎనీ ఏ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూపే లేదు. వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ ఓన్లీ టెలిగ్రామ్ గ్రూప్. So the registration is very easy. So if you see that, so not APSDC online programs, APSDC programs. So Telegram group name is APSDC programs. So two groups unnai, but APSDC programs is the our Telegram group. Yeah, once you are registered, immediately you get the link from Imagine Cup registration వస్తుంది మీకు వెంటనే వస్తుంది. once you register అవగానే within minutes లో వస్తుంది, 3-4 minutes లోనే వచ్చేస్తుంది. So this is the session link. So some of the members are asking how to register. So this is very easy and very simple. So it's very simple. Imagine Cup గురించి జస్ట్ మీకు ఒక లింక్ ఇస్తున్నాను, జస్ట్ క్లిక్ ఇట్. సో సార్ 100% అటెండెన్స్ అవసరం లేదు, జస్ట్ 80% అటెండెన్స్ ఉంటే సరిపోతుంది, అదే చెప్తున్నాను. సో జస్ట్ క్లిక్ ఆన్ యువర్ ఎంటర్ యువర్ నేమ్. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐ మెన్షన్ మై నేమ్ ఈజ్ మురళీ కృష్ణ. ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఈమెయిల్ ఐడి అడిగారు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీ దగ్గర ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఈమెయిల్ ఐడి లేకపోతే ఉన్న మెయిల్ ఐడి ఇవ్వండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నా దగ్గర ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ మెయిల్ ఐడి లేదు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను PRO@APSSDC.in ఇస్తున్నాను. దిస్ ఇస్ మై పర్సనల్ మెయిల్ ఐడి ఆర్ APSDC కామన్ మెయిల్ ఐడి. జస్ట్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ అడుగుతున్నారు, ఎనీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను డిగ్రీ అనుకుందాం, నా ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నా సబ్జెక్ట్ బీకామ్ అనుకుందాం, బీకామ్ అయితే బీకామ్ అని ఇవ్వండి. సో ఇయర్ అని అడుగుతున్నారు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫోర్త్ ఇయర్ అయితే ఫోర్త్ ఇయర్, థర్డ్ ఇయర్ అయితే థర్డ్ ఇయర్, ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ అయితే ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్. అలాగా నేను కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయింది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీరు కంప్లీట్ అయిపోతే అన్ఎంప్లాయిడ్ అని ఇవ్వండి. కాలేజ్ ఆర్ యూనివర్సిటీ, మీరు ఏ కాలేజ్ లో చదువుకుంటే ఆ కాలేజ్ నేమ్ ఇవ్వండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐ మెన్షన్ పిబి సిద్ధార్థ. జస్ట్ క్లిక్ ఆన్ సబ్మిట్. సో వన్స్ మీరు ఇలా సబ్మిట్ చేయగానే వెంటనే మీకు మెయిల్ వస్తుంది, ఇలా యువర్ రిజిస్టర్డ్ అని. ఓకే, ఇమాజిన్ కప్ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ వస్తుంది వెంటనే, విత్ ఇన్ ఫ్యూ మినిట్స్ లో వస్తుంది. 15 seconds లో వస్తుంది మెయిల్. Yes, yes, yes. సో మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ కూడా ఫార్వర్డ్ చేయండి. దిస్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ బికాస్ ఏంటంటే సో నేషనల్ వరల్డ్ వైడ్ జరుగుతుంది ఈ ఈవెంట్. సో మన ఏపీలో మనం ఫస్ట్ టైం చేస్తున్నాం ఈ ఈవెంట్ ని. సో ఐ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఆల్ ది ఆడియన్స్, ప్లీజ్ ఫార్వర్డ్ దిస్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ టు యువర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఆల్సో. ఓకే, డెఫినెట్ గా మీరు కొత్త ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్ చూస్తారు. ఎందుకంటే ఒక వరల్డ్ క్లాస్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ ఉన్న స్కిల్ కాంపిటీషన్స్ అండ్ స్కిల్ ఛాలెంజెస్ గురించి మోర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అయితే తెలుస్తుంది. Yeah, Nilima, not a problem because you continue the remaining 26 sessions, you definitely get certificate. Okay, 3 days రాకపోతే ఏం ఇష్యూ లేదు. Okay, no, we are not providing any placement assistant for this course. This is the fundamental training of AI and data science. Okay, that's clear. ఎటువంటి ఇష్యూరెన్స్ అయితే ఇవ్వట్లేదు ప్లేస్మెంట్స్ గురించి. దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఫండమెంటల్ ట్రైనింగ్. మీకు ప్లేస్మెంట్స్ యొక్క ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కావాలి అంటే ఏపీఎస్ఎస్డిసి యొక్క వెబ్సైట్ ని ఫాలో అవుతూ ఉండండి రెగ్యులర్ గా. ఎవ్రీ డే వేర్ కండక్టింగ్, అవర్ టీమ్ ఈస్ ఆర్గనైజింగ్ many so many industry customized training programs. So for example, I'm open the APSDC Facebook official Facebook page. చూడండి, ఇక్కడ మీరు చూసినట్లయితే if you observe it, so every day at least our team is posting 10 to 15 different so just follow our APSDC Facebook page. Definitely you get the many information regarding the jobs. Okay, చూడండి, if you see that solar park లో ఉద్యోగ దరఖాస్తులు. So definitely this is one more company. సో మీరైతే ఎవ్రీడే ఏపీఎస్డిసి సోషల్ మీడియా మీరు ఫాలో అయితే డెఫినెట్ గా యూ గెట్ మెనీ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద ట్రైనింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఐ ఆల్రెడీ జస్ట్ నౌ ఐఎమ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయినింగ్ అబౌట్ ద ట్రైనింగ్ ఆఫ్ విప్రో. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద మ్యాప్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్, దిస్ ఇస్ ద నేషనల్ లెవెల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. ఓకే, సో ఐ హోప్ కవర్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. సో షెల్ ఐ లీవ్ దిస్? జస్ట్ క్లిక్ ఆన్ apssdc.in. మీకు ఏం ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, ఏ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ లింక్ కావాలన్నా జస్ట్ క్లిక్ ఆన్ apssdc.in. ఓకే, సో apssdc.in సింపుల్. Yeah, mobile is okay for 28th meeting. Yeah, mobile is okay for 28th meeting. So thank you, bye. Thank you and good night, guys. Thank you. Okay, again, feedback form is asking some of the members.